Hi everyone, it's me Elise, and I'm back today with a new diabetes related video. This is actually a pretty long overdue video for me. I got a text, I think, or a call from my sister who lives up in Fairfield, California, which is near San Francisco, and she said that her husband's co-worker's daughter has been diabetic for about 6 years since she was 6, so she's 12 now, and that she was struggling a little bit, and if I had any advice that I could share with her. So knowing that I had this great, wonderful diabetic community that I'm a part of now, I figured I'd reach out to you guys and ask for your help, and a lot of you really came through. So basically, I put together a compilation of everything that people have told me in regards to giving advice for her or for anybody who is either newly diagnosed or who's been diabetic for a while and is just struggling, because we all struggle with it. And even if we're doing well for a little while, we have our ups and downs, and sometimes we're feeling just like this girl is feeling, and we just don't know what to do, and we just don't know what to say or how to express ourselves, and it's like the worst feeling in the world. So hopefully with the words I have to share today, she can understand what a big, loving family we have here in the diabetic community, and that she's not alone. The first little bit of advice that I want to share comes to you from a friend of mine named Belle, who I met through YouTube. She started commenting on my videos, and we also follow each other on Twitter. She is currently 17 years old, and she was recently diagnosed. She is, in my opinion, she's amazing, because in a short amount of time she's already made her YouTube channel, and she's very open about how she feels about her diabetes and about being open with it on social media. For me, that took me a long time. I'm very open about it now, but it did take me a long time. So being newly diagnosed, I think she's really cool. I will put the link to her YouTube channel down in the description box if you want to check her out. So what Belle expressed to me was that when she was diagnosed, she felt like the whole world was just crashing down on her. Like, she felt like everybody was against her, like the whole world was against her, basically. She stressed that the hardest part for her was knowing that it wasn't her fault, which is true because it's not her fault, it's nobody's fault really, and knowing that there's nothing you can do to fix it. You can definitely make it better for yourself, but you can't fix it, and that is so frustrating. So she empathizes with that feeling if any of you guys are feeling that, and I think that's one of the most common feelings that all of us have, is just pure frustration. She does want you to know that things do get better. As cliche as that sounds, they do get better, and that life is worth living always. As long as you maintain your faith that things will get better, and you remember that nobody's against you, the world isn't against you, that your world isn't falling apart, and there's nothing you can do to change it. Having faith is a key part of accepting your diabetes. This kid, I really love this kid. I think he's adorable. His name is Noah. He is currently, I think he's 14. Yeah, he said that he was, sorry, I'm looking down my notes. He said he was diagnosed a year ago, just a year ago when he was 13. And he reached out to me as well, and he sent me some messages on Instagram saying that he enjoyed my videos and whatnot. So I asked him for advice on what he was thinking when he was diagnosed, or just thoughts that have come to his mind when he's thinking about his diabetes. First initial things he felt were anger, which is totally understandable. I was pretty angry too. Felt like he'd done something wrong, yet again, something I think all of us feel at some point, and he felt embarrassed of himself. I've talked about this in another video about the whole embarrassment side of diabetes and feeling like ashamed of yourself, that you can't be better or that you can't be as healthy as other kids, and it's a perfectly natural thing to feel that way at first, but I want everybody to know there's no reason to be embarrassed. I totally understand what it's like to be embarrassed. I feel that way sometimes still, even though I've been diabetic for 6 years. Sometimes I feel like, I don't know, when I'm around people my insulin pump is showing, or I like get a low blood sugar in front of people and I show any signs of weakness, it makes me feel like I'm inferior to them, and then I get embarrassed. But I know I'm not. I'm actually stronger than they are, because I have to put up with a lot of stuff that they don't have to. And he wants to tell you specifically, remember that we are all one big type 1 family. There are tons of support groups, and that includes your friends and your family. And to stay strong, and you can do this. Thank you, Noah. I loved it. Loves it. Another person I met through Instagram, and I think we follow each other on Snapchat and all of that stuff, her name is Sarah. She was diagnosed 10 years ago. She says something that I found like very, very important, because as I'm reading through all of these different people's explanations of what they wanted to tell me or wanted to tell you, I was thinking, wow, everybody, we have our same qualities about how we express ourselves with it and how we feel about it. We all, as Sarah put, we all struggle with it differently. And that's okay. The way she struggled by it initially was by ignoring it, which is not good, obviously, because by ignoring it, you actually make yourself sicker, and then your mental health gets worse, and everything just gets worse from there. So ignoring is not a good idea. However, I can empathize with that greatly, because sometimes I just want to ignore it, because if it's not there to think about, then it can't hurt you, right? I think that's the mindset behind it, even though it is not very healthy. Specifically, she said, I don't expect you to be extremely excited about it now, but it is completely manageable. This will make you a stronger and a better person. She also mentioned a ton of people who are very strong individuals who have celebrity status and have done things with their lives that go beyond just being type 1 diabetic or letting type 1 diabetes get them down, and just being an inspiration to others. And she made a little list, and that includes Kimball, the race car driver. Hope I said that right. Numerous Ironman participants, which I think is amazing. Nick Jonas, you probably know who he is. And just other people that are out there in the media that have sort of learned to embrace it and who are perfect examples of what we can do with our lives despite the fact that we are a little bit broken inside. Next, I like this girl. She follows me on Snapchat. I like her Snapchats. I think she's quite funny. Her name is Beth. I don't know when she was diagnosed. She's quite young. I'm not sure how old she is. Maybe around my age, a little bit younger. I don't know. The first thing she had to say was, "You have gained a whole new family," and that is us. That is the diabetic online community, the YouTube community, the Twitter community. If you enjoy summer camps, which I think you should if you're young, I don't know, I think everyone should enjoy summer camps because they're so much fun. Find yourself a good summer camp for diabetics and you have a whole new family there as well. I actually have a video about how much I appreciated going to a diabetic summer camp when I was around 16, and I'm going to leave the description to that video because I think that's really important, just to know that you have a family out there and you're not alone. So Beth said she felt really different in school, like no one really got it. Even if she spoke to others about it, if they weren't dealing with the same exact thing, it was like no matter how much they empathized, they didn't really get it, you know? Like you can't really get it unless you're dealing with it yourself. So she turned to YouTube to watch diagnosis videos. She searched the hashtag type 1 diabetes hashtag on Twitter, and she found a whole new community of people there. And she was amazed to see how people can talk about it so openly. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Because diabetes definitely has all three of those parts, let's not lie. We also talked about the benefits of being diabetic, especially when you're in school. I know I experienced some of these, like I was able to snack in class whenever I wanted to and eat sugar in class when other kids were like, "Why does she get candy?" And it was like, I'm diabetic. Things like you can get ahead in line at a restaurant, you can get the fast track passes at Disneyland. There are just certain things that are actually pretty cool. The next person whose advice I'm going to share is named Lindsay, and she is one of my good friends. We met on YouTube, she watched my videos, she sent me a picture with a description of her diagnosis, and just basically we became really close from there. She was diagnosed only a year ago, and I think she and I have a really good support system between the two of us, and just reminding each other that we can still be normal college-age people, and that even though diabetes does get frustrating, that we have each other, and definitely having a friend like that has meant everything to me. She was diagnosed, she felt lost, scared, she felt like she was being punished. That's a huge one. All of us think, you know, things like this happen, but they don't happen to me. You know, that can't possibly happen to me, and when it does, you're thinking, what did I do wrong? Like, what did I do to deserve this? What she says, though, as far as advice goes, is you can either let it eat you up inside or you can conquer it. And I thought that was beautiful. I love that piece of advice because that's how you can deal with pretty much any problem in your life. So you can let diabetes completely consume you and make you feel depressed and make you feel like it's all that you have to think about, all you have to worry about. But once you actually realize that you have diabetes and diabetes does not have you, life becomes a lot easier. It's a realization you have to get to on your own, but once you get there, it's like a huge weight off your shoulders. My last advice comes from somebody named Danica. She goes by the name Diabetic Danica on YouTube, and she has tons of followers and tons of wonderful videos, so I'm also going to put a link to her channel below because she's a really helpful resource. She's been diabetic for 12 years. She wants you to remember your life is not over. She has done a lot with her life. She goes on to explain that she's traveled out of the country several times, played sports in school, went to sleepovers, got straight A's in school, she graduated college with 2 degrees, and she's lived on her own. So definitely check out her channel because she's done a lot despite what diabetes has thrown at her, and I think that's super admirable. In closing, I'd just like to say I really hope these words help you to see that you're not alone in this. We have tons of people here to help us. You have tons of people here to help you. Life is worth living. There is so much that you can do despite having diabetes if you just let it become that motivation to make you stronger, and you use it as a catalyst to push you forward and do greater things. And I know that's really hard to accept when you're going through a rough patch because I've been there several times, but once you realize it and you fully embrace, this is who I am and these are my challenges, I can't even put into words really how much relief that has brought me. and how much stronger I've felt from this. So thank you for watching. I hope this helped you. Remember, the diabetic community is here for you, so check out my other videos if you want. Check out Diabetic Danica, check out Belle. Follow us all on Twitter because we always talk about our diabetes and complain on there. So do that as long as you're old enough and your parents approve. And I hope you have a wonderful day and good luck with your blood sugars and your A1C